The sun was setting. It was already mostly hidden by the horizon, its dying rays giving the world a warm tint. Hey! I tried for you, sir! What? They're back! Oh, I thought you guys had left, considering the fact that I spent the entire time reading nothing else but the other Straw Hats' adventures. Well, we're back. Time for more Luffy story. So, yeah, Luffy, Adventures, Equestria, doing all sorts of cruel things. Awaken! Night Aids and the Forbidden Spell. Chapter... I don't know. Every time he does one of these drift away stories, I get my schedule is all messed up. I can barely remember where we are in each one of these chapters. And you know what? It drives me bonkers. Catalot. A short time after Celestia's return from war. 6 futon-like squares and one wheeled bed were arranged in a circle. So, futons. Above them, the deep rayed haze of dusk poured in through a massive glass into the ponies gathered in the room. All of them had full cups of tea in front of them, but no pony took a sip. 6 pairs of eyes looked at Celestia as he raised her cup off his saucer and took a sip. It declined once he set it down, and it echoed through the room. Does your ponies have jobs? I have Blake my scout taking care of the farm. Oh, so can you Corey's busy with Mr. and Mrs. Cake, so they don't need me. I cleared the sky in 10 seconds anyway. And I had raindrops do all the work for me. Ah! I'm a librarian. I can take the day off anytime I want to. I've done a lot of dresses in advance. Oh, Ditsy and Dinky agreed to take care of my animals. Dinky? She said take care of the animals, not to play with the little kitten. But Mama, it's a whiskers tickle. Right, get back to your roles and follow Starfleet. Let's bring in the rest of the cast. What I am about to tell you is possibly the most sensitive information in Equestria, she said. The Night Age, Starlight muttered. 3 centuries with barely a paper left of documentation. 200 years of history lost when the Everfree overtook the old castle. At least, that's what every pony believes. Celestia looked at her ponies around her, settling on Twilight. The other 200 years, a collection of well-devised folklore, iconic figures, and the occasional battle. And all of it's false? Ruby gasped. Even Cherryberry? Celestia shook her head. No. He and many others from the true Night Age were given a spot on the annals of history. Just not in proper chronological order. I have monuments for the generations that lived through the century following Luna's banishment for all they went through. But a memory right was the kindest thing I could offer them. Oh, no, it is not! Fluttershy shivered. It was really that bad. Worse than any pony of this age could possibly imagine. Celestia's features darkened a bit. Discord's reign was miserable, but life was able to function. Lord T-Rex was a different story. But Discord turned all of Equestria upside down, said Yang, a thin sweet sweat now covering her forehead. What could this T-Rex have done? Turned everything he saw into ash. Celestia's lower foreleg shivered a little as he placed her other leg over it to take it still. I should have realized it sooner, but when Luna and I faced Discord, there should have been a third party working against us. Starlight grimaced. T-Rex waited until all 3 of you were weak or at prison to strike. In a sense, but at the time the third force was much older than myself or Discord. Celestia continued as a chill went down every pony's spines. Discord's rule created untold misery, but there should have been unbridled hatred as well. You called? Oh no. No, Conquest! Down, boy! It should have been a buffet for the Wendigos, but they instead stayed far away from Equestria, giving Discord free rule of the land. Well, That's Discord for you. He messed things up. You know, if only the author did the whole 600 years bits, this wouldn't be too bad of a backstory. It's just that whole 600 years and then, another 200 years of no information kind of messes things up. Starlight went to her friends. All their faces showing signs of confusion. She looked back to Celestia. What did Discord do? He created an even greater monster. Celestia said, her eyes glued to the floor. A creature born of such malice that even Wendigos would be overwhelmed. At first, it was just a bundle of accumulated hatred, something to keep the Wendigos at bay. But that changed when Discord was defeated. It became a walking plague that corrupted all it didn't devour. I had been too distracted with nationalizing pirates to notice the threat until it was too late. Towns vanished overnight. T-Rex army grew with each day. It was Discord all over again. But now, we had a death toll on our hooves. Again? If only it wasn't 600 years, and if only it wasn't that Discord did it, I would not mind this story. Blake shuddered, and a few tears fell down her cheeks. White slid off her seat to move closer to Blake, wrapping an arm around her. Celestia paused for a moment while Blake wiped away her tears. Everybody else's faces had gone grim and they were bent forward, listening for Celestia's next words. T-Rex's anger was also his downfall, though. He was enamored with destruction and thought little of the future. When I finally managed to gather a strong enough force to challenge him and push him into a corner, he flew into a rage I could only compare to a natural disaster. An entire piece of Equestria was forever scarred by battle. Where T-Rex wasted his power on destroying all in his path, I kept my magic concentrated and reserved. He had already halfway defeated himself by the time I unleashed the elements upon him. Yeah, that's cool and all, but there's just one teeny tiny little problem. What was Luna doing at a time like this? Oh, Luna turned dark. Well, author, what a way to make Luna useless. Of course. Well, Dash, it's your lie. Dash. Trixie. Where's Rainbow Dash? Oh, remember how we kept her bribing her with, Sire? Yeah. You're never gonna believe this. Our sire ran out. Yeah. Oh, great. So, who do we got in reserve to replace Rainbow Dash? Oh, well, you're gonna love this. She said that since she's not doing any work lately, yes, you'd be glad to take over and join Team Ruby. Really? Who? Ha! Shows what happens when you mess with Equestria. Pierre flashed every pony a grin, but it quickly faded when no pony else smiled. Pierre, you decided to... I know it may seem like a different character for me, but... I figured... I'm kind of a Rainbow Dash fan. So I hope you don't mind, but I'll take over for Dash. Well, see, we know! Practices her scenes for Fall of Starfleet! Is anybody else working on Fall of Starfleet? Listen, Bringer, you? Hey, I'm the one writing it. You're the one doing the jokes. If you want somebody to help you philosophize, ask Alchemy Student. I'm sorry, but I'm too busy chilling out, relaxing over the fame and glory I got. If you want to talk to somebody, why don't you talk to Samus Force? Excuse me? I'm busy trolling and causing general mayhem. Why don't you talk to the DVR guys? Right? We're all locked up. I guess we're stuck with me. I only wish I could share in your joy, Pira Nikos. Celestia shook her head. But Equestria has suffered far too much for me to take my pride in my victory. My castle was in ruins. Untold numbers of ponies were homeless. As I came to realize, a single pony was not fit to wield the elements. No! Duh! Some sweat ran down Starlight's face. Meaning? Meaning 3 things. 1 was that I could not seal T-Rex in the same manner as Discord. Only severely weaken him, and then physically chain him down to the lowest pits of Tartarus, even deeper than Impel down. Celestia glared down at her teacup. The second was that I could only cleanse a number of ponies. Those left corrupted fled to Equestria's darkest corners and became the monsters that haunt us to this day. Oh, that is cheating with the monster's bit. That is cheating! Celestia bowed her head. The third effect you've already seen. A complete severance between the elements and their wielder, with the elements going completely inert until new wielders could be found. Celestia turned her eyes up to the glass dome, watching the last bit of light fade from the sky. The physical toll kept me bedridden for the next decade, she continued. A nearly perpetual winter, days barely long enough to allow plants to grow, and a nation without its sovereign. Those 10 years took 90 to recover, and it still feels like if we have never gotten back to peace that existed before Discord. Celestia floated her teacup to her lips and shook a sip. Everybody else stared looks from each other, frowns and shadows framing their faces. Blake raised a hoof. Will we know T-Rex coming this time? Celestia sighed deeply, her muscles loosening a bit. Yes. Surprise will be on our side this time. T-Rex is unaware that the elements are active again, and the guard will be on high alert at all borders. There's more, though, isn't there? Twilight asked. I fear T-Rex will not be alone. A golden globe appeared in the middle of the ponies, but quickly grew limbs in the head, keeping Rotund safe. The One Piece stuff is back! Alright, I guess it is a One Piece crossover. We gotta bring in, a man with a scraggly beard, just before my features cleared out of the ponies. Mist-like substance rose off his right hand, while he glowed bright as if he were channeling magic. He has allied himself with a man called Blackbeard. Boo! Celestia said. He is the one who perpetuated the war. Also that he could steal Whitebeard's abilities. His power over darkness alone was fearsome, but now he could seek entire islands to the sea with the Tremor fruit. If he were to come to Equestria now, we would have no hope of defeating him. Everybody was about to gasp when Celestia raised a hoof, silencing him. Raising him from her seat, she marched into the middle of the arrangement, dispersing Blackbeard's visits into the air. She eyed them all with fiery looks in her eyes. That is why you will begin training. We must be ready to fight when the time of battle arrives. Celestia lowered her head a little. I'm sorry to ask this of you. Twilight got up and reached out, hesitating a moment before a hoof of Celestia's shoulder. We could do this, princess. Right, girls? Yang nodded. Yeah, bring it, Pyrrha said with a smirk. We got a surprise. Ruby somehow produced her scythe and sent out a spray of a few rounds. I love having a surprise. Well, Weiss got up and curled a hair through her hair. I'd rather not get into this whole trade business. She stomped her foot to the ground. But I'm not letting anyone or thing hurt Equestria, even if I have to get dirty. All eyes turned now to Blake. She remained seated and was shaking a little, with her hair covering her eyes. Yang moved over to her and knelt down, laying a hand on her shoulder. Blake, I know this might be tough, but we'll help you through it. Blake blinked and leaned a little closer to Blake. Blake, I'm worried about this all too. But we've faced some pretty bad stuff before. No. Blake replied, keeping her voice low. Weiss came over and put a hand onto Blake as well. Really, dear, it'll be okay. Like it messy, but I'll do it, Blake said, rising up from her seat with a determined glare. Quickly faded and she spun her blade around. I don't want T-Rex or this Blackbeard person to hurt any pony, even if I have to kill. It seems we need to work a little bit on spirit. All heads turned to the room. Luna stood by them with a startled look on her face. In all seriousness, I do have a problem with this. Fluttershy's been able to walk into battle before. You know, Nightmare Moon, Discord, and not even going, even I had to go fight. She's never had to say that. Why do you people always want to take away Fluttershy's backbone and just amp up her fear, huh? Do you just want to continue having her be your little waifu? Is that it? It's like the whole entire messy bit, but... Advancing on Blake, she reached out a hoof to keep her from shying away. Body trembled under Luna's touch. You fear what is to come, yet you have faced dragons? Luna tilted her head to the others. As she closed her eyes and took a deep breath. It'll be hard for some of you, but you will learn. Pierre raised an eyebrow. You're going to be teaching us? Celestia moved to Luna's side. Luna is well versed in hockey training from her instructions with people. Maybe a bit too well, Luna said under her breath. Celestia's ears perked up, but she decided to ignore Luna's mutterings. I'll leave the 5 of them to you, sister. Wait! Lice placed a hoof at Celestia. You said 5. Who's not going then? Celestia moved her eyes over to Starlight. You have always been my student. Now it's time for one more lesson. I understand, Starlight said with a nod. Then she turned to her friends. I know all you can do it as well. Good luck. Well then, you all have had your bed rest now, and enjoy the comforts of the castle. Luna said, looking over her new disciples with a grin that should have shivered down their spines. My training will make basic necessities seem like luxuries. And a few beads of sweat slid down Weiss's face. Will you be traveling? Indeed. Luna furrowed her brow. And you'll be learning to listen to the wild. You'll need to immerse yourself in nature. That means no nuggets. But my beautification lesson! A quick slap in the back silenced Weiss. Twisting eyes, she turned to glare at Yang. Don't be getting all set. I've had camping through the woods with my family to know my way around. Can't train you in the woods, huh? But I could handle it even from the dumb bed, Pierre said. Place showed a tiny smile. And I know where the animals are and what plants are safe to eat. Training camp party, Ruby exclaimed. It's good to see your enthusiasm. Goodness, grinned wide a little. You'll need all that energy if you hope to survive. 5 ponies had made their way to the door, with Pinky and Applejack, with Yang and Ruby helping Pyrrha out. Blake trailed behind them, but a blue aura tugged on her tail, holding her back. Luna went over to the side and stared down at her. Blake shivered again. Was there something else, Princess? Yes. Luna's horn lit up. Y'all stopped early. Wait, what are we? Blake vanished along with Luna. It was the Starlight and Celestia in the room now. However, they too instantly teleported away in flash and appeared in a familiar hall. Stained glass lined the upper halves of the halls, depicting the various trials Equestria had gone through in its history. At the head of the room was a door with a massive lock in its center. There were scorch marks and bits of rubble left over from the previous fight here and there. Good idea, Princess, said Starlight. Luna must have forgotten, but having the elements on us at all times is a smart precaution. No, Twilight, that's not why we're here. Ceci took a deep breath and lit up her horn. A thick tongue suddenly popped up in front of her face. Its age scent strong enough for Starlight to smell it. A collection of frayed and faded silk stars rested above a whirlpool-like illustration on the cover. Starlight's eyes widened at the sight of the book. Princess, is that... Starsoil's personal spell book. Celestia kept the book falling beside her head as she walked up the steps to a vault. Her magic inserted herself into the lock, and the thick door opened up. I hope to give it to you in a year or two, when you were more settled in, and its effects would be less dangerous. But now you must learn all there is in this book, and master the elements. Starlight stared up at the jeweled box that sat upon the stone pedestal. You always told me about the book. How it held some of the most powerful spells in all of Equestria, some as strong as the elements themselves. But I never told you of one that combined both. The chest lid opened up, and the element of magic flew up and over to Starlight. At the same time, Celestia floated the book over to Starlight, flipping open to the one last page. Starlight's eyes grew wider as he scanned over the notes, breathing speeding up as well. Starlight, Now's a pressing time for all of us. It is with you that I entrust a grave task, but you must rise to meet it. I'm going to tell your friends the risk I'm putting them in with this, but I know if any pony can do it, it's you. But Princess, I just can't. You can. Celestia grabbed one of Starlight's legs and with a force Amir went a little. Starlight, you will master this spell, and gain a power that even dwarfs my own. Fluttershy trembles, training commences, next chapter. One moment, Blake was going to the door. The next, Linda was in front of her with a horn ablaze. Everything went white for a few seconds, while Blake felt a hot wind swirl around her. It was hot beneath her hose as well. She shifted a hoof around and felt particles of sand move against it. Her vision was soon clear to reveal a sprawling desert that stretched to the horizon with great mountain tops. The sky lacked a single cloud. Its only adornment was a blazing sun that distorted the air around her. Luna's deep blue coat sharply contrasted with the fiery sand she stood on. Blake whipped her head back and forth, taking in the environment and staring at Luna. "Where are we?" she asked. "I believe Sister said this is Buffalo Land now," Luna said. "Doesn't really matter much. It's such a barren place that no one cares who controls it. Even a unicorn skilled in survival magic wouldn't last more than a few days out here." Blake gazed out across the sand, but only the disturbances she could spot were a few outcroppings of rocks. She breathed in deeply and felt the hot wind swirl around her, ruffling a few of her feathers. "It's so quiet," she said after a moment. A small smile came to Luna's face. "I wanted to make sure there were no interruptions." "I know, but for there not to be even tiny creatures." Blake stared out into the desert again. "It's a little foreboding." "Your natural observation hockey is truly skillful." Luna turned to Blake. "But while it's good to see your abilities in that area are already starting to bloom, that is not what we are here for." Blake twitched a little from Luna's tone. "What are we here for?" "That ability you call the stare. Show it to me." "What?" Blake asked. "You want me to use the stare on you?" Luna shook her head. "Not immediately if it makes you nervous. But I need to see it so I can understand what your level of control is, if you would." Luna took a step back. The hot wind continued to blow around him. It was silent for a moment. Beads of sweat formed on Blake's brow whilst he stared at the ground. Luna waited for a moment, just watching Blake sweat before she slightly coughed. Blake jumped a little. "Forgive me for breaking your concentration," Luna said, "but I've heard your ability is slightly faster than this." "It is. I just can't use it out of the blue like this." Luna knitted a brow. "I see. So you need some kind of catalyst. Fear not. I know some dragon hordes we can—" "No! That's a little extreme. I'm fine here. No need for dragons." "Well, I don't want us standing out here sweating all day." Luna's eyes sharpened a little. "Don't you think taking you here for a personal lesson was an act of kindness? It's only to ensure that other ponies aren't hurt when we can actually get someone out of training. Now, I suggest you demonstrate your hockey, or else I will have to get creative." Despite the heat, goosebumps ran up Blake's legs. "Okay. I usually only use the stare when one of my friends is misbehaving. So, may say no more?" Luna started to cast a spell. "I'm familiar with some unruly pets that have become nightmares for their owners." "Wait!" Blake called out. The horn glowed around Luna's horn dimmed as she let out a snort. "You have 10 seconds to explain." "I just think sending a pet into the middle of the desert would be a bit much of a shock. Can we use a stand-in first?" "Fine." Luna's horn flashed, and a small stone statue thudded into the sand. The fall buried a good chunk of it, but its hard scowl and long ears poked above the dunes. Blake slowly stepped over to the statue and brushed away some of the sand. Bending her head down, she stared at it, and then looked up to Luna. "Is this Angel?" "An approximation," Luna replied. She tapped one of the statue's ears. "Now, he has raised your pottery and upset your other pets. Come at him!" Blake took a deep breath and stared down at the statue. Her lips quivered a little. "Angel, that was very rude, and—" Luna slapped a hoof across Blake's cheek. "He's not listening to you. Show him who his owner is." I... Luna slapped Blake's other cheek. "You'll have the power to stop him at any time. Use it. Put him in his—" "Shut up!" Blake roared. Her eyes sharpened and gained a sheen to them while her wings unfolded and started back up. The sand directly in front of her rippled slightly as if a concentrated gust had blown over it. Luna's lip twitched and pulled back and blinked. When the stare folded back, Blake crouched down so she was eye level with the statue. You do not get to make a mess and disturb everyone else. How many times do I have to tell you? If you do this one more time... She vanished from Blake's eyes as she sunk into the sand. Luna stood silent for a moment before blinking. A smile came to her face as she put a hoof on Blake's shoulder. Well done. I mean, even a single limb of mine reacts without even targeting is quite impressive. I need to work on your face, though, so that Luna stopped the sound of sobbing. She arched her eyebrow and bent her head down to see that Blake was crying a little. What's the matter? Luna asked. That was the most wonderful demonstration. I hate doing that. Every time, I wish I could have done something else. Luna wrapped a hoof around, tying around Blake. Sometimes force is all creatures would listen to. But I feel so angry when I do it. Blake curled her forelegs closer to her chest and let out a sob. But I have to do it. No, you don't. Luna moved her leg around and brought it to Blake's face. She pushed back her mane and stared into her red eyes. Tears continued to flow down her face, but Luna didn't look away. Heed my words. Your skills are raw now, and only come forth at times of anger and desperation. This training will fix that. Do not think I'm going to make you some mad berserker. King's Haki is the sword that only a chosen few may wield, and your movements will be controlled, precise, and calm. You just need to have the will to master your power, and I know you do. Blake sniffed and managed to meet Luna eye to eye. A few more tears tumbled down her cheeks, but she managed to summon the smallest of smiles. Thanks. Girls, are you sure you don't want to come back? I mean, the thing is having you do some awesome things. Yeah, but are there plot holes still you could drive a Mack truck through? Yeah. Are we still mainly just cardboard cutouts? Yes. No deal. Actors. A teacher must always encourage a student. Luna backed away and flashed Blake to grin. That is what Sister has said at least. Blake's smile grew a little as she nodded. Then, also let's see. The intensity of your hockey is quite astounding for someone untrained. Your problems seem to be with range. Even at the early stages, King's Haki tends to manifest outward in all directions to the user. Skilled weather masters can direct it, but that control is incredibly rare. Okay, Blake whispered. How's a demonstration would be best? Luna got up and tried a few feet away from Blake. Collect yourself. Are you ready to wait? When you're ready, I want you to fly a good distance away. Then land and concentrate. Concentrate on what? Focusing on me would probably be best. Your spirit must be ready to withstand my assault, though. You've given it. Spit the hot sand and greet you when you awaken. Okay. After a few minutes of deep breaths and wiping her eyes, Blake got up and jumped a few feet off the ground. She slowly guided over the sands, pausing every couple of yards to turn her head back and look at Luna. Whenever she did, Luna would raise her hoof to signal for Blake to keep going. This continued until Blake could barely see Luna's leg. She hovered above the ground for a moment, just to be sure Luna didn't want her to go further. She landed once she was sure that Luna was remaining still. Even the distortions caused by the heat made it hard for Blake to fully make her out. Blake drug her hooves into the sand and waited. Her eyes were glued onto the Luna's distorted shape as he dared not to break her concentration. With nothing around her, Blake could only listen to her heartbeat thrumming in her ears. The heat distortions around Luna suddenly vanished. Even from afar, Blake could clearly see her down to the individual jewels that decorated her shoes. However, Blake's focus was lost slowly on Luna's eyes. They had gone from a deep turquoise hue similar to Blake's to a shocking shade while her pupils slanted into slits. Luna felt the temperature drop a bit, while the pressure of her hockey expanded outward to its maximum range. She blinked, returning her eyes to normal while the temperature began to return to its previous heat. The wind ceased around her, leaving it quiet enough for her to hear the sand crunch underneath her hooves. She looked off the ground and flew into the air. One flap of her wings was clearing out the distance between her and Blake. She landed a few feet away from Blake, causing a bit of sand to kick up. She smiled at Blake, who was still standing with her eyes wide open. You may have been at the edge of my range, but it is to your credit that you're still awake. She wanted to pat Blake on the back. What you say to that? Blake remained silent. Luna's pat had been enough to tilt her rigid form. She crashed to the ground, setting up more sand, but remained in the same stance with her legs. Locked into place and the rest of her body frozen. Only her tall managed to move the tiniest amount as she started. Scary. Luna stared down at Blake, paralyzed his body, and tapped her chin. Not even made closest, so it's considered not a takeaway today. Yay. Blake said before her eyes rolled back to her head as she passed out. Luna felt the wind blowing against her once more. She inhaled the dry air, gazing up at the sun. Let's return to the castle. The sun is no place to sleep. Her eyes went down to Blake as they began to glow. And perhaps we shall see what encumbers you. Survive! Luna's plan and Ace's struggle. Luna looked over at the 5 points in front of her. 3 stood with their eyes forward, although Ruby was struggling a bit trying to stay still. Weiss had her head to the ground, allowing a few drops of sweat to click to the tip of her muzzle and drop to the floor. Only Pyrrha remained sitting in her wheelchair, covering in less bandages than before, but showing little of her coat. Just to be sure, Luna said as he paced in front of the group, you are all who you say you are, correct? Yep, Ruby chirped. Oh, maybe Chaffee switched one of us a secret and was part of master plan to take down Shadow organization led by a ravishing yet evil mastermind. Yang glanced over at Weiss. I knew you shouldn't have let her those hoity-toity stories. Weiss paused to catch her breath. Thought she could use some culture. Yang raised an eyebrow. You feeling okay? You're sweating worse than a pig. I am not! Weiss gasped. I'm just feeling... Luna's shadow fell over her. She looked up and was met with Luna staring straight at her. Fine. I can understand if you're nervous. Luna lit up her horn. Perhaps I can lessen your burden a little. Wait. Hold a second. Time out. So you mean that side story featuring Trafalgar Law wasn't just a side story, but it was canon. Not only was it canon, but you referenced it? Oh, that's not confusing at all! Weiss' back flashed, and saddlebags and suitcase stuffed to the brims appeared. Weiss's pupils shrank, and she took a step back, sending his suitcase clattering to the ground. The fall was enough to spring it open and send hats, boots, bug spray, and hair curl flying in all directions. Everybody else in the room eyed Weiss, save for Yang, who had to struggle removing a wool sweater from her head. I just wanted to bring the necessities, Weiss said while trying to avoid lingering eye contact with any pony. She bit her lip when no pony said anything. Sweat poured down her face while Luna was trying to glare down at her. Weiss shuddered and then threw herself at Luna's host. At least let me take the color! My maid is too delicate. Your maid would be the least of your concerns. Luna levitated Weiss's belongings over to her side and dispelled them in a burst of light. So, I suggest you steal yourself. Weiss felt a hoof on her shoulder and looked up to see Yang standing beside her. The girl reached down and held her up. There'll be plenty of natural talents in the wild, said Yang. I'm sure he can help you find one. Ruby bounced over and pulled Yang and Weiss into a hug. Oh, is it pronounced wild berries too? A smirk came to Luna's face. You can try, however. I warn you. Once you are comfortable with your surroundings, then your real training can begin. Now, let us be off! Luna's horn lit up, and the aura surrounding it started spreading outward. The group drew closer as the magic veil domed above them and drooped down to the ground. At the same time, the glow around Luna's horn grew brighter. Just as the magic touched the floor, its light turned blinding. Everybody's ears pumped like a force, like a great wind blew around them, and they felt a soft carpet of fans from under their hooves. Ace stared up at the green leg that connected back to his red shoulder. He revolved his hoof around in a slow circle, watching the foreign limb respond to the signals from his brain. Knocked back at the door and broke him away from his gazing. I got a question about that automail. Who did he get that leg from? Seeing it, he glared forward, as if to perceive whoever was on the other side of the door. Jinbei, I'm not in the mood to talk, he said. His neck still stung from the shot that Jinbei hit him with yesterday. I'm going to get out of here anyway, whether you help me or not. You'll still have a hard time getting past the shield spells, though. Ace's eyes narrowed as the door opened, and a white stallion leapt into the room. Bandages covered him from head to hoof, partially obscuring the blue and magenta shield on his flanks. He managed to make it inside after a few more limps. I'll be in a bit of trouble if my wife or Twilight finds out about this, but I thought you and I should talk. Ace raised an eyebrow at the stallion. Why is that? It gets boring just sitting around here recovering. The stallion replied before closing his door. Besides, we can swap older brother stories. Mind if I have a seat? Weiss landed onto the damp dirt with a thump. She shook her head to clear away the spots she was seeing, only to poke herself on some branches. Gaining her bearings, she stood up and saw that she was near some bushes in the middle of the forest. The canopy above her head was so thick that only a few beams of light made their way through, throwing the area into permanent dusk. Before she had time to take in more of her surroundings, a bush next to her rustled. She jumped up and braced herself against a nearby tree. However, she relaxed when a Stetson hat emerged from behind the bush, followed by Yang's head. Yang, you never scared me half to death, Weiss said as he walked over to her. Yang shook her head. Up close, Weiss could see that there was a green tint to her cheeks. I don't think teleportation suits me. Weiss took a step back. Oh, please don't get sick. I'll be fine. Yang lifted her head, gazed at the surroundings. Lots of trees like the ones around Ponyville. Princess, mind telling us where we are? A silence greeted Yang. Princess Luna? Weiss called out. She waited for a reply as a drop of sweat ran down her face. Blake? Ruby? Pyrrha? Now I'm sure they're around somewhere, said Yang. Weiss turned her such a shrug of pupils. While Princess Luna's spell might have misfired, was there all at the right spot while we're stuck who knows where? Sweat was now dripping down Weiss's face. Her chest quickly rose and fell as her eyes darted all over the forest. Yang marched over to her and clasped her hard on his shoulder. Breathe, girl, said Yang. Panicking will just get you hurt out here. I would follow her advice. Luna's voice suddenly rang out. It seemed to come from all directions, its volume causing the branches around Weiss and Yang to quiver. You'll need it in these first few days. But what are we doing? Weiss asked. Surviving, Luna replied. Most of the basic skills live here, and then we can actually talk about hockey. You'll have to use your own abilities for now if you wish to avoid becoming some predator's meal. The Everfree's denizens can be quite vicious. The Everfree, Weiss replied. What about everybody else? They are another part of the force. No doubt asking the same questions you are, said Luna. I'll explain some things to them as soon as I am done with you. Speaking of which, if you can find a cave nearby, I do not know what it contains, save for the sound of flowing water. Other than that, I wish you the best of luck, and you shall be watching your progress. Wait! Weiss cried out, but only got the faint echo of her own voice in return. She grimaced and kicked a nearby pile of leaves before getting out a groan that reverberated up into the treetops. Oh dear, Blake said between gasping for breath. She paced back and forth, letting a small cloud of dust swirl around here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ruby placed a hoof above her brow so her head around. I don't see anything here. Blake grabbed a hold of Ruby, her body sinking. Ruby, this is serious. We're in the middle of the Everfree with all kinds of monsters and other horrible things. Ruby came back to Blake. Don't worry a thing, Blake. Princess Luna just wants us to camp out here for a bit. It'll be super fun. We can even make s'mores. Ruby somehow produced a bag of marshmallows and plopped one into her mouth. Want one? Blake blinked and took a deep breath. She let go of Ruby and relaxed her muscles. Seeing her hind legs, she managed to smile and reached out to take a marshmallow. I guess you're right. Princess Luna said she'd be watching, so she'll help out, right? Of course! Ruby stuffed another marshmallow into her mouth. Princess Luna wouldn't let us get hurt. Crystal from a nearby bush drew Ruby and Blake's attention. Both of them paled as a manicore struck its hulking body out of the foliage closer to them, soaring in the direction, sending a small gust of leaves and dirt. Blake remained paralyzed on the ground, while Ruby managed to raise up her bag of marshmallows. Want one? She asked. Manticore responded with a roar that rang throughout the forest. Luna stood on the ends of the plateau to look down in the sea of trees that extended in all directions. Far off to her left, a flock of birds erupted for the forest. They were, in fact, a flock of seagulls. And I ran so far away. And then descended back into the shadows. Are we just going to be staring into the forest all day? Came a voice from behind her. Luna turned around to see Pyrrha and Nikos looking at her with her arms crossed across her chest. Everybody else is out there, right? I should be helping them. I'm used to roughing it. Reopening your wounds would be disadvantage to your training, Luna said. Pyrrha flew up a tuft of her mane, falling from her face. So I'm going to be sitting here? Why don't you bring me along then? Because you'll be watching everybody else just as I am, Luna said. Pyrrha raised an eyebrow. You mean use some sort of tracking spell? Sorry, Princess, but I don't have his horn. Luna chuckled.
Misunderstand. I'm using neither magic nor my eyes. Keep an eye on everybody.
Pierre narrowed her eyes. What?
You're in this vast force. I can feel it how your friends are. Luna closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Yang and Weiss are making their way into the small hill 5 miles from here, probably on Yang's suggestion. Ruby and Blake are running for their lives from about the court. Pierre took down her wheelchair ground on Luna. Well, just so stand there. We have to help them. No. Luna pushed Pierre off of her and into the ground. Pierre let out a small yelp, but Luna just marched over to her and bent her head down to Pierre's face. Ruby already possesses enough observation hockey to discover a safe path, and Blake could easily incapacitate most of the force's threats in an instant. But my stance is firm. Luna let out a horn surrounding Pierre and her aura. Pierre floated to her chair, where Luna kept her spell active, anchoring Pierre to it. As for you, you'll be learning to concentrate and feel the energy around you. In return, I'll assume that your recovery is hastened. Pierre opened her mouth to say something, but slunk back into her chair after a moment. She glared down at the ground from her brow. We bear promise no pony gets hurt. Are you confident in your abilities? Luna took a seat beside Pierre. Now, let's begin with some basic breathing techniques. Wait a minute, you mean she's teaching her hormone instead? Oh, sweet! Shining Armor let out a small chuckle. So, right in the face? Yeah. Ace said, trying to contain his own laughter. Thought he'd be showing off some super duper amazing new technique. But his fist just bounced off the ground and into himself. Trust me, I've been there, he said, Shining. Every time Twilight came home from the academy, she showed off her new spells. I managed to light both our mates on fire a few times. At least Luffy never managed to turn Data into a plant. Both Shining and Ace let out a round of laughter at that. A few seconds later, their injuries acted up, forcing them to stop. Vic? Can we have more of this, please? They eventually regained their breath and grinned at each other. Siblings. Shining shook his head. They do some silly things. Ace smiled dimmed a little. It's a good thing you got others to watch out for him. I know. The smile faded from Shining's face. The worst times for Twilight was when she was alone. Unless she didn't stumble to a war. She could have stopped one, though, if I just listened to her. But we were able to move past it. I'm sure your brother will, too. He will. Once he wakes up, I'm sure he'll act like nothing happened and help me bust out of here. Ace smiled and glanced at his right foreleg. I'm going to smack him for being stupid, though, first. Shining furrowed his brow. You know Celestia's adamant about what she said, and I'm inclined to sign with her. Well, I only took orders from Pops. I'm getting back to my seat and to my crew, one way or another. Okay, I can see this is going nowhere. Ace, if you keep this up, I swear to Celestia, I will be reading you in the Superboy Pride voice. Hunting his shoulders, Shining got up from his seat and walked over to the door. Pulled it open, didn't leave. Instead, he had turned his head back to Ace. Just something to think about, though. He said, what will you do if your brother asks you to stay? Ace's pupils shrank. His face grew red and pulled back to a scowl. Luffy would never want me held prisoner somewhere. Look what he did just to set me free. Was your sister set on that? I can't say, Shining replied. He'd say do everything in her power to protect me, though. And I do the same. With that, Shining closed the door, leaving Ace alone. In silence, Ace remained taut. It's only after some time he allowed his muscles to relax, and he fell back onto his bed.